Welcome to Social Distancing Story Time, coming to you today from the Playroom. Or as you could call it, Explosion of American Girl doll clothes. Today is somebody's birthday, and she got lots of amazing hand-me-down American Girl doll stuff from her big cousins. So it's been a very exciting morning of playing a lot of dress up. A lot. All right. So today we've got one book, Eloise in Paris by K. Thompson. Pray for me, because this book is long and it can be très difficile to read. I said that because it's in French and she goes to France. All right, let's check it out, guys. I almost dropped it. One tea time, this telephone was ringing its head off, so I picked it up, and oh my lord, it was a front desk saying, "Eloise, there's a cablegram down here for you, and do you want us to send it up?" And I said, "Well, by all means, send it up right away, pronto, at once, on the double, zippity-zap, clink-clank, hang up that phone." And skibble out of that door. Eloise is kind of crazy. What? Look at that craziness. Nanny is rather farsighted. It was a cablegram from my mother. "Oh my lord, we are going to Paris, France to get roses in our cheeks. If you are going to Paris, France, you have to turn into French and absolutely go wild and put adhesive tape on you and fall down a lot and sclade the window and stretch into the curtain and grab Nanny's ankle and be dragged around. Then you have to get on that telephone and tell everyone that you're going. Hello, room service, it's me, Eloise. We're going to Paris, France. Goodbye. Hello, give me the porter, please. Will you bring up our trunks to the top floor? Yes, we are going to Paris, France, France. Hello, give me the bell captain, please. Will you kindly send up some twine? We want to wrap up our trunk. We are going to Paris, France. Bon voyage, and thanks a lot. Hello, get me the housekeeper, please. Goodbye. Hello, get me the general manager's office. S'il vous plaît. Hello, Mr. Voix. It is me, Eloise. Kindly forward our mail to Paris, France. We're leaving tout de suite, which is right away. Bon voyage, and merci beaucoup. Then Nanny had to go and call Dr. Hadley to get our shots. While he is taking off his coat, you have to fall down on the bed and hide and count the pillows for a while with your head under it and pull everything on top of you and glue your eyes and be stiffer and sort of disguise your arm under a comforter and then slowly sclade it out about an inch or so and Zimbo, sting, stinger. Then you have to have your head bandaged with cold compresses and hit Dr. Hadley with the fly swatter and clink clank pick up that phone and call room service to send up 4 peach melba and 3 straight Johnny Walker Black without ice and charge it please, merci beaucoup. Dr. Hadley went to Harvard and always wears a derby except when he's operating. Clink, clank, pick up that phone and call the Irving Trust and get those passports over here right away at once. And you should see our passport pictures. Here's the thing of it. I'm rather photogenic. And oh my lord, did we ever have to pack. Here's what you have to take if you're going to Paris, France. Mary Jane buttonhook, pliers, consomme container, hotel kit. Here's what else you have to take. Everything. I always pack my parachute, and I always wear my foreign identification travel tag whenever I go to Paris, which is a picture of me on one side and a mirror on the other for me to see who I am if I need to. I am usually me, Eloise. At the very last minute, Emily came over from Central Park to say goodbye. She is allergic to the humidity and suffers quite a bit. I left the bathroom window open for her so that she could come in and enjoy the air conditioning while we were away and said, "A bientôt, Emily dear," which is, see you later. Then get out in that hall and close that door and put on that do not disturb sign just in case. When that elevator comes up, you have to be ready to get in, and will you get in for Lord's sake? We had 37 pieces of luggage, including these 2 wire hangers, this camera, these 2 bottle tops, the hot water bottle, and 2 cans of Kippers from Gristides. And will you get out for Lord's sake? I always travel incognito. Weenie said goodbye to the doorman and thanks a lot. I always say au revoir to the plaza whenever we go to Paris, France. Everyone knew we were going, but no one cried. We took a taxi to the airport. It is the best way by far. Nanny says it is more romantic. Ooh, I absolutely love Nanny. When you get there, you have to check your ticket to see if you're going and buy a mint or so. And oh my lord, there was this enormously large plane, and these motors were grinding and turning themselves around, and there were all these men running around, and this gasoline was there, and we had to walk up these steps to get into it. Sabina is the only airline that will allow you to travel with a turtle. The absolutely first thing you have to do is put on your life belt and go see what's up. Mrs. Fifield has birth 6, and she smokes 3 packs a day and laughs rather loud. She is from Dallas, Texas, and has this charm bracelet with these 12 gold oil wells on it that jangle. My mother has a charge account at Neiman Marcus. Actually, the pilot has nothing to do, so you can help him count the comets. I don't have my nap today, but Nanny says pas de quoi because New York is 6 hours behind. During the night, the motors are on fire. Absolutely no one slept. It was raining when we landed in Brussels, but we didn't get our feet wet. We walked right up into the air, into this darling little helicopter. When you get to the French border, you have to begin to parler français. Weenie's favorite word is d'accord, which is okay. Skipperty's favorite word is zut, which is oh hecko. Nanny's favorite is regarder, which is look, look, look. My favorite word is pas de quoi, which is it's quite all right. I'm sure you didn't mean to crush my hand in the door, even though it is bleeding and practically throbbing with pain. It's quite all right. It doesn't matter. No is mais non. Yes is mais oui. Vous êtes is you. Je suis me, Eloise. Then Nanny said, ooh, regardez, and there was Paris, France. You have to show your passport in case you are these smugglers who have just escaped without a quota. I always tie my bottle caps around my chest and conceal these grape seeds inside this Band-Aid and push it down into the left side of my leg, into the lower part of my sock, near the ankle bone on the inside, and hide my bubble gum where they absolutely never discover it. Then we went through this door, and there was Cokie with a cablegram from my mother. He is my mother's lawyer chauffeur and speaks several languages. Nanny says that that's jolly D, because if she has to cope, she prefers to do it in English. He gave me this Paris bouquet and said, "Allô, chérie," and I said, "Allô, chérie." Oh, my lord, it was my absolutely first conversation on French soil. Cokie is 27 and has hair that hurts your hand and does absolutely nothing but smile. He weighs 137 without his crest ring and hibernates in the winter in the south of France. Here's what Cokie says all the time. Ditto. Here's what he likes. Raspberry tarts. Ditto cowboy movies. Here's what he hates. Motorcycles. Ditto bicycles. Here's what I like. Paris. Ditto Cokie. And oh my lord, we had 38 pieces of luggage, including the camera, the 2 wire hangers, the hot water bottle, and the 2 cans of kippers. And somebody's briefcase with an SN on it that didn't even belong to us. Pas de quoi, d'accord, and zut. I actually prefer the Renault Dauphine whenever I am in Paris, France. We sang all the way in. Fromages, cheese and fishes, poissons and boats is les bateaux. And trees is arbres and flowers is fleurs and horses is chevaux. Oh, bridges is ponts and streets is rues and churches is églises. And who is we in Paris, if you please? Who? We're Nanny and Weenie and Skipperty and me, Eloise. Please disregard any of the musical notes corresponding to actual notes I should sing, because I am super not reading that and trying to sing. Apologies. Cokie shouted bravo and applauded quite a bit and turned right on the Pont Saint-Michel. Here's what they have a lot of in Paris. Pigeons. There are several hotels in Paris. We prefer the Relais Bisson on the Quai du Grand Augustin because of the sea breeze and the salt air from the Seine. The lobby is rather petit, and Madame and Monsieur Dupuis are absolutely French. Madame Dupuis smiled a lot and said, "Ah, Nanny, bonjour, bonjour." And Nanny said, "Ah, bonjour, 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 Madame Dupuis." And oh my lord, Monsieur Dupuis kissed Nanny's hand. And Madame Dupuis said, "Ah, bonjour, mademoiselle. Es-tu un enfant terrible?" And I looked up at her and répondu, which is reply, "Non merci, Madame Dupuis, je suis me, Eloise." I always use the French politesse, which is to be polite if you possibly can. There is no elevator. Pas de quoi. Here's what you have to do. Mind the stairs. When you are in your chambre, which is your room, you are allowed to fall on the bed and sort of sclathe yourself into these large pillows for a while, because here's what you are, absolutely fatigué, which is tired, tired, tired. The absolutely first thing you have to do is put on your bedroom slippers, which is pantoufle. Then, if you decide you'd like to have a little iced lemonade or something like that to cool off with fresh mint in it, clink, clank, pick up that telephone, and while you are waiting for someone to answer, you can yawn several times and unpack and go see what's up. The water is French. Skipperty has his own private swimming pool. Nanny says you have to hide everything because if you don't, oh my lord, the police will be involved and will come and blow their whistles. Nanny hid our money at a secret hiding place, but we never found it. She forgot where she put it. Monsieur Delacroix lives next door, and his daughter is in Bombay, and went swimming with her brother-in-law who swallowed this peach seed. Monsieur Delacroix gets quite a few postal cards. And then whack! You hear all this whacking and ne quittez pas and zook 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 zwacky zook zook zwak 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 zooky zookity zook 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 zwak and you are disconnected. Here's the thing of it, clink clank, hang up that phone and simply send a cable. Then you have to get cracking and get out on that street. Otherwise, you could have stayed in New York. So the first thing you have to do is put on your gloves and zap into the lobby and send a cable or so. The cable says, Mr. Jean Voix, Plaza Hotel, New York. Kindly send 3 pounds jelly beans par avion. Red. Merci beaucoup. Me, Eloise. You absolutely cannot go anywhere in Paris without your map. Oh my lord, il y a beaucoup de traffic in Paris. And that's a lot. I usually skibble along the quai for a walk, which is promenade. And beaucoup de that, and beaucoup de dog, and beaucoup de cat. And there is also beaucoup de this, beaucoup de these, beaucoup de those. Il y a beaucoup de quelque chose, which is something, ooh, I absolutely love quelque chose. Paris is a place where you have to be to see it. So you have to take your British sit-down stick and la regarder. French bread makes very good skis. Have you ever had French bread skis? No. You can go across the Seine by land or sea. We prefer the sea voyage. Nani is always Lord Nelson, and I'm usually me, Eloise. Il y a beaucoup de fish. You absolutely have to have your camera ready at all times in case something comes in front of you and is in focus so that you can take a picture of everything, even if you didn't see it. For instance, if you want to take a picture of this statue or this friend or this balloon in a hurry or something like that, then take the camera and press it against your forehead and turn this knob at the bottom to the right until it hits this blue mark underneath the red. Then press it against your forehead until they all say blue and sling it over your shoulder and scratch your ankle, perhaps on the inside, and squint. You can have them developed right away. If you want to, you can take the case off. Sometimes they turn out. I don't know if Eloise is a very good photographer. What do you think?
She took a picture of the ground.
She did take a picture of the ground. I am all over the étoile. Sometimes I go on a bicycle, but not without a horn. If you want to simply walk across, they will stop for you. Is that a good way to cross the street? No. And oh my lord, there was this most terriblest crease, which is crisis. I think I got a very good picture of it. And if there everly is a lot of promenading on the Avenue des Champs-Élysées, and those cars come up on the sidewalk and purr behind you, here's what you have to do in Paris. Keep moving a lot, like looking up or sitting down in a sidewalk cafe. Why do you think there was a crisis? Who do you think caused it?
What's a crisis?
A problem. There was some trouble on the street.
Eloise.
I am toujours, which is always at Fouquet's. I usually sit in the front row. I can see better there, and have a tart Mirabelle or so. You can't get a good cup of tea. They simply do not boil the water, so you have to have champagne with a peach in it instead. I'm supportive of that. We ran into Mrs. Fifield. She was absolutely breathing and had spent all of her traveler's checks at Pierre Balmain on the Rue François Premier. She speaks no French, so you can imagine. Les pigeons à Fouquet's are rather healthy, but not one French pigeon is as fat as Emily. You have to speak to them in French, because here's what they are, français, and you simply have to tell them to quitter, which is go away, chérie, or they will sit on your head and knock your glasses off. I usually give them a slight squirt with this seltzer bottle to cool them off in this hot sun so they don't get overheated and waddle themselves over, so it is rather refreshing for them. Some of their feet are pink and their eyes are red, but they don't cough. I took this picture of this pigeon talking to this seltzer bottle. C'est bon. Look at that picture. Here's what I have to do every French morning. Sclathe myself out of bed and wave to the fishermen and say, Bonjour, Notre Dame. Then I have to brush my hair until it bounces, put milk of cucumber on my face in layers, and look in the mirror for a sec or so. Je m'amuse. And yawn for a while and smell the peonies or something like that. Then I do my champagne exercises. Weenie is bubble keeper. We toujours have a café au lait, which is petit déjeuner, and a croissant, which is absolutely delicious. Weenie took a bath in Perrier water, and it tingled him with these needles and got up his nose. It was rather refreshing for him. Skipperty swims most of the time. He prefers the Australian crawl. Weenie sleeps a lot under the bed, and his bowls en gelée, where it is cooler. He is absolutely gaining weight. Ditto Skipperty. Ditto Nani. Ditto me, Eloise. Here's what gives Nani a mal à tête, which is headache. Pigeons. So far, I have 18 champagne corks. Every French night, I take a foot bath, which is a little petit of lettuce soap, ditto eau de cologne, ditto milk of cucumber, lean out the window and say bonsoir to Notre Dame, and hit the hot water bottle. Then I have to put my shoes out in the hall to be dusted because the French cobblestones turn them into absolute scuff. But be sure you put your name flags on all of them or Monsieur Delacroix will be wearing your pantoufle in the morning. I usually have a bottle of Perrier water and je me repose, which is rest myself and read the Herald Tribune for a while. Then I zap into the lobby to send a cable. The concierge reads it out loud just in case. Mr. Jean Avois, resident manager, Hotel Plaza, 59th Street, New York, USA. Dear Mr. Avois, you know that switch which connects the air conditioning on the 8th floor? I don't think it's working. Here's where the plug is in Paris with me, Eloise. Uh-oh, more trouble. Eloise took the plug to the air conditioner from the 8th floor with her to Paris. Trouble.
What 8th floor?
The 8th floor at the Plaza Hotel in New York where she lives. She took the plug with her. Then I roam around the stairs for several hours or so, not knowing what I am doing. Monsieur Delacroix gets his shoes from Macy's. Some people's feet are rather large. Bonne nuit is good night. Il y a beaucoup de sights to see. For instance, you can go to the Eiffel Tower. It is absolutely large and rather high, so I always tie my binoculars to my head in this breeze and go up sideways. Nanny hid her money in her stocking. Très is very agréable, is absolutely pleasant. An ice cream wagon is très agréable. I took this picture of Weenie talking to this French snail. It is rather fluzzery. I toujours like to take my parapluie, which is umbrella, to the Madeleine and have some almonds in a noisy sack. Paris raindrops are larger. Or you can go to the Sacré-Cœur for glass balloons. Or to the British Embassy, they boil the water there. Or you can go to l'Escargot. Everyone was having a snail. I had potage de jour. There are several restaurants in Paris. Langoustines makes very good fingernails. Paris is the world of fish. Do you know what langoustines are?
No.
Little lobstery, shrimpy situations. Looks like they're shrimp to her. They're like crayfish. Or you can go to the races. I always sit in the front row and watch these horses running with these tails, and they have these veins sticking out, and they are snorting and rolling their eyes. Some of them win. Or you can go to the Ritz in this carriage and this horse, which is right behind Napoleon, and have tea in the garden with a green napkin and this gravel. Or you can go to the zoo for this rather French safari. Or the ballet at the opera. I took a royal jelly gumdrop cigar and captured these 3 gnats who kept hanging around. Or you can go to the flea market. Voici is what they have there. This red feather fan, or this fur piece, or this wedding dress, or these elephant tusks, if you need something like that, and quite a lot of rather valuable things. I got 2 champagne corks and had them shipped back to the United States. They were rather a bargain. Paris is the world of fashion. Or you can go to the movies. We've been to 37 movies and have seen Orson Welles 19 times. Or you can do a little petit of shopping. There are absolutely nothing but streets in Paris. Here's what you have to do. Point at everything and say, ooh, regardez this, and ooh, regardez that. I usually have to touch everything and sort of pick it up and feel it quite a bit. Sometimes here's what you have to say. Pardonnez-moi, chérie, my dear, but je suis a little petit fatigué. I always take a plunge in the fountains whenever I am in Paris. It is rather refreshing. Il fait chaud is it is hot. N'est-ce pas is it not? Nanny took this absolutely darling picture of me. If there is a lot of rain and wet, simply go to the Louvre. Mrs. Fifield was behind the Venus de Milo, so you can imagine. Here's what you have to do. Tippy around the parquet floor and hold your neck up with this guide. There are several paintings or so, and oh my lord, on the way out there was this most terriblest crise. There were these 2 attendants there, and this woman in this sweater, and they would not give us our camera or weenie or skipperty or a parapluie because they said we had to have our ticket. So we said, well, nous avons perdu, which is we have lost our ticket. And they said, pas de ticket, pas de camera, pas de tortue, pas de chienne, pas de parapluie. And oh my lord, they made some of us go all the way back up those stairs and get it where some of us had left it behind the winged victory of Samothrace. Here's what Nani says. Ah, the French, the French, the French. Here's what I say. Pas de quoi, d'accord, and zut. I toujours tweak the Apollo Belvedere whenever I leave the Louvre. I always go barefoot to Saint-Germain-des-Prés for salad niçoise. Cokie took this absolutely darling picture of us. A melon makes a very good iced foot bucket and a very good heat ray hat. Skipperty kissed Weenie quite a bit. Monsieur Dior designed a dress for me, and it is absolutely chic, although I would have preferred a tassel or two. Pas de quoi. Here's what I am, a clothes horse, which is cheval. One Sunday, which is dimanche, Cokie came by in the little Petite Dauphine and said, "Allô, chérie, where to?" which is où. And I said, "Simply drive me someplace, Cokie dear. He is my best friend in all of Paris. All you need to know about Versailles is that Louis XIV was the father of Louis XV, and Louis XVI lived at the Louvre, I think." Not sure if that's right. Il y a beaucoup de cobblestones in Paris, and some of our feet are getting round. The Hall of Mirrors is an unusual room. I saw absolutely nothing else but me, Eloise. It was très agréable. There are absolutely no kings in France. Cokie took this absolutely darling picture of me eating gâteau, which is cake. I never go to the Bois de Boulogne without my French sweater because it might be a picnic. They had this little lake, which is lock, and I ran into this French duck. It was très agréable. We played Mumbly Peg and counted the clovers. French sandwiches are absolument large, and we had to put all these flags on them so we could tell which one was anchovy and which one was concombre, which is cucumber, and which one was grass. There were quite a few people who were not even looking at each other. Cokie played the guitar and I danced the arabesque while he sang this French chanson about Les Passions des Étoiles, which is about this girl who lost her shoe in this forest. There are very few places where you cannot take a chienne.
What does that mean?
A chienne is a dog.
So the dog couldn't come.
No, there are very few places where you cannot bring the dog. So there are a lot of places where you can bring the dog, at least according to Eloise. The Paris sun will burn your arm if you are fishing in it, and you will have to get calcimine lotion and spread it on in layers. So a good time to go fishing is in the evening, which is soir, or if you want, you can go in the rain, which is pluie. You have to be content with everything in France. For instance, if you want a jelly bean, you can have an almond paste instead. Or if you want the sun, you can have pluie. Oh, I absolutely miss the plaza. Ditto room service. Ditto the bell captain. Oh, my lord, c'est difficile when you are a child, which is difficult. Foi is right. Chaud is left. And you can count on it practically all of the time, but not always. Here's what you have to watch out for in Paris. Prickly heat on your stomach. We usually dress for dinner. On my last night in Paris, I always wear my pink pantoufle to Maxim and say, "Bonsoir, Albert." He is French. He admired my necklace of champagne corks. They have this music, which is la musique, which is playing its head off. It is rather festive. You have to regarder le menu for quite a while. It is rather fluzzery. Mrs. Fifield had souffle. We had these darling little strawberries, which are absolutely wild. Here's what you can do while you're waiting. Look around a lot. Or you can play with your face a little. When you get l'addition, which is the check, la regarder for a little petit and simply say, "La chargez, s'il vous plaît, Albert," and merci. My mother knows Maxim. I absolutely did not want to leave because j'aime beaucoup Paris. I sent the baggage down early. Mrs. Fifield called to ask what plane we were taking. She had berth 6. I gave Cokie all of my photographs so he would never forget our trip to Paris. He gave me the champagne cork from the south of France, and I said, "Ooh, je vous aime beaucoup," which is I absolutely love you, Cokie. Here's how many postal cards I've sent. 67 airmail, which is par avion. We were slightly overweight, especially Weenie. Nani said, "À bientôt, Cokie," and "Merci, merci, merci." Cokie said, "Au revoir, chérie," and I said, "Au revoir, chérie." It was rather sad, which is trieste, trieste, trieste. Triste, triste, triste. When we got to New York, oh my lord, we had 114 pieces of luggage, but we could not find the briefcase. It was perdu, which is lost. We had absolutely nothing to declare. You can hide your bottle caps behind your kneecaps. Nobody looks there on a child. I don't know that anybody looks there at all. Absolutely nothing had been done while I was away. Mr. Voix is partially French. Express to the top floor, please. Clink, clank, pick up that phone and call room service. They were very glad to hear my voice and said, yes, Eloise. And I said, allô, room service, c'est moi, Eloise. Kindly send up 4 watermelon on the rocks. Ditto 4 champagnes. Ditto 1 seltzer water, please, to the top floor, s'il vous plaît. And le chargé, merci beaucoup. Ooh, I absolutely love the plaza. Clink, clank, hang up that phone and je me repose. Then Nanny said, Eloise, I wonder if you could tell me who left the bathroom window open while we were away. Do you know who it could possibly be? And I said, actuellement, Nanny, dear, je ne sais pas. And then Nanny said, well, do you think it might have been you, Shelley? And I said, oh, my lord, Nanny, dear, c'est difficile to say. Mais pourquoi do you ask, Nanny dear, s'il vous plaît? Then Nanny scathed herself over to this bathroom door and opened it up, zap, and said, regardez, regardez, regardez. Oh, my lord, il y a beaucoup de pigeons in our bathroom. Emily and her friends were very glad to see us. J'aime beaucoup le plaza, which is, ooh, I absolutely love the plaza. Now, about that mail chute. Whew! That was a long one. That was a long one, but we made it, right, kid?
What's the next book?
I think that's it. I think that's... Ooh!
Why is that the only book we did?
Well, it was a super long book.
Why is that the only book we did?
Well, it was a long one. It was a long one.
But I want to do another one.
Well, I don't have any more in here. They're all in the living room. So we'll have to... No, we already read all those.
Not Jimmy. Jimmy.
Not Jimmy?
No.
No. Okay, go get Jimmy. We'll do one more book. We'll do one more book at the insistence of my young assistant.
No, old assistant.
Well, you're the oldest of my 2 assistants, but you're both still kind of young.
No, I'm the oldest. Call me assistant.
Okay, you're my
Call
old
me
assistant.
the oldest.
All right, old assistant.
Oldest assistant.
I love to sleep in my own big bed. Written by Shelley Admont, illustrated by Sonal Goyal and Sumit Sakuja. Can you tell we've got a little bit of a bed theme? It was my attempt at inceptioning the kids, both of them, when they switched over to their big beds. Well, you can tell we've had this one for a little while. Ripped book. Jimmy, a little bunny, lived with his family in the forest. He lived in a beautiful house with his mom, dad, and 2 older brothers. Jimmy didn't like to sleep in his own bed. One night, he brushed his teeth, and before going to bed, he asked his mom, Mom, can I sleep in your bed with you? I really don't like sleeping in my bed alone. Sweetie, said Mom, everyone has his own bed, and your bed suits you just right. But, Mom, I don't like my bed at all, answered Jimmy. I want to sleep in your bed. Let's do this, said Mom. You get into your bed, and I'll hug you, tuck you in, and read you and your brothers a story. Then I'll give you a kiss and sit with you until you fall asleep. Sounds like a good plan. Okay, agreed Jimmy. And he gave his mom a kiss. Mom hugged Jimmy and read a... I can move this pillow. Okay, here we go. Mom hugged Jimmy and read a bedtime story to her 3 children. During the story, the children fell asleep. Mom gave all of them a goodnight kiss and went to sleep in her bed in her room. In the middle of the night, Jimmy woke up. He sat up in bed, looked around, and saw that Mom wasn't next to him. Then he got out of bed, took his pillow and blanket, and sneaked quietly into Mom and Dad's room. Jimmy got into their bed, hugged Mom, and fell asleep. They slept like that the whole night until the next morning. The next night, Jimmy woke up again. He took his pillow and blanket and tried to leave the room like the night before. But just then, his middle brother woke up. Jimmy, where are you going? He asked. Jimmy stuttered. Nowhere. Go back to sleep. He quickly ran into his mom and dad's room. Jimmy sneaked into their bed and pretended to sleep. But his middle brother was wide awake. I wonder what's happening here, thought his brother, and decided to follow Jimmy. When he discovered that Jimmy was sleeping in their mom and dad's bed, he was very upset. So that's the way it is it? He thought. If Jimmy's allowed, then I want to also. With that, he got into their parents' bed as well. Starting to get cozy in there. Mom heard the strange noises, opened her eyes, and saw the 2 children in her bed. She made room for them in the bed by making do with a small corner of the bed for herself. Again, they slept like that the whole night until the morning. On the 3rd night, the same thing happened. Jimmy woke up, took his pillow and blanket, and went to his parents' room. His brother followed him again and got into their parents' bed. together with his pillow and blanket. But this time, the oldest brother also woke up. Something's not right here, he thought, and followed his 2 younger brothers to Mom and Dad's room. When the oldest brother saw his 2 brothers sleeping together with Mom and Dad, he was very jealous. I also want to sleep in Mom and Dad's bed, he thought, and quietly jumped into the bed. They slept like this the whole night. It was really uncomfortable. Mom and Dad didn't rest the whole night. Tossing and turning, they tried to find the most comfortable way to sleep. It wasn't easy for the little bunnies either. They turned over and over in the bed until it was almost morning. That is too many bunnies in the bed. Then suddenly, boom, bang, the bed broke. What happened? Jimmy shouted as he woke up right away. Oof, screamed the middle brother, who also woke up. Oof, yelled the oldest brother while lying on the floor. What are we going to do now? Said Mom sadly. Oh, we'll have to build a new bed, Dad announced. After breakfast, we'll go to the forest and start working. After breakfast, the whole family went to the forest to build a new bed. After a whole day's work, they had made a big, strong bed out of wood. The only thing left to do was decorate it. We've decided to paint our bed brown, said Mom, and while we're painting our bed, you can repaint your beds whatever color you'd like. I want blue, said the oldest brother with excitement and ran to paint his bed blue. And I choose the color green, said the middle brother happily. Jimmy took the color red and the color yellow. He mixed the red with the yellow and made his favorite color. What color did he make? Orange. He painted his bed orange and decorated it with red and yellow stars. There were big stars and middle-sized stars and even very, very small stars. After he finished, he ran to Mom and proudly shouted, Mom, look at my beautiful bed. I love my bed so much. I want to sleep in it every night. Mom smiled and gave Jimmy a big hug. Ever since then, Jimmy has slept in his orange bed every night. Good night, Jimmy. All right. Thanks for joining us. That's it for this episode of Social Distancing Storytime. See you again tomorrow. Bye. Oh, do we have a special guest star? Do you want to say bye-bye, Evie? Come here.
No.
Come here. Hey, look. Oh, little Grumpsy. Do you want to say hi? It's still on. Do you want to say hi or do you want to just cry? You want to read a book? Okay. Well, why don't you go grab a book? Well, it's hard because someone's sitting on my lap. Okay, look at this. Oh, look at this. Perfect. Olive wants to slide. Well, we're going to run out of time because Mommy's got to go do some work now. So can we read about Olive? Well, this is what I have right now. Otherwise, I think we might have to say bye to everybody unless you want to read this one. Is this good? Okay. Olive loved playing with everything at the playground. Well, everything except, what didn't she love? Can you point to it? The slide. Come on, slide with me, Olive. Maybe. Whee! Yikes, that's too fast. I'm with you, Olive. Here, let's turn so you can see it and I can see it, okay? Star, can you move that singing car? Thanks. Olive wished she could slide too, just not so fast. Ribbit, ribbit, said Olive. I know. I'll make my own slide. One that's just the right speed. Sam, Olive, and Shelley went off to gather supplies. They have some tape and a rock and cardboard. They taped and stuck and built, but the ball didn't move. Oh, this slide is way too slow. So they tried again. I've got cardboard, I've got tape. Oh, I found a tall rock. They taped and stuck and built. Slide test in 3, 2, 1. Do you think it's going to work? Well, the ball rolled away. This slide is way too fast. Olive watched the ball speed through the playground until it stopped. Did you see that? Asked Olive. The ball rolled slower on the grass. That gives me an idea. If the grass makes the ball go slower, maybe we can make my slide go slower. Oh, is that a good idea?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sam, Olive, and Shelley tried again. They taped and stuck and built. And what were they sticking on the cardboard?
Grass.
Grass. And what else, Evie?
Flowers.
Flowers.
Hey, you don't say what I want to say.
Okay. They tested it out, and finally the slide was just right. Not too fast and not too slow. Whee! This is fun. Come slide with us, Sam. No, thanks. Do you like to go on slides, Evie? Yeah, you love slides, don't you? Okay, that's it for... Can we say bye to all the people and say thanks for watching?
No.
Well, okay, but that's what we're going to have to do, birthday girl. Can you tell everyone it's my birthday?
It's my birthday.
And how old are you?
7.
What? Are you 2? No. Are you 3?
No.
You are 3.
44.
You're 44? Oh boy. Goodbye.